Welcome, I'm Kakashi with Kanto Capital. The Pokemon card market has been on fire. Prices have been skyrocketing, everyone's excited, everyone is excited for the new releases. But we already know this. We already know prices have gone up. We already know the values are going through the roof. But that's in the past. The question that we really want to know is, are prices actually still going up? Well, I have some enlightening numbers for you today. I try my best to keep tabs on the Pokemon market and track its movement. And there was a particular card I was watching as an important market indicator. This basically allows me to have a better idea where the market might be moving next. If you happen to have some experience with technical analysis and finance, some of this might be familiar to you. Don't worry, I won't make this too complicated or make things too crazy for you. But the real question is, the question we all want to know is, are we still in a bull market? And if you don't know, a bull market just simply means a market where the prices are trending upward. Basically, prices are going up. Well, here is my take. I happen to be watching the price action of base set. No, not that base set, not the Japanese base set, but the English base set. But not just any card, the base set Charizard card. And no, not just any base set Charizard card, but very specifically, the unlimited base set PSA 9 Charizard card. Naturally, part of the reason I was tracking this price, of course, is because I do have one. But it also turned into an interesting market indicator for me. And let me tell you why. First, it's from base set, and that's very important because it's an established set with over 20 years of price history. That means we have better data to work off of. It gives us better analysis that we can make. And also, because it's such a well-established set, it's less likely to suddenly crash or spike in price. And I know what some of you are thinking. You're saying, well, prices are spiking. You even said it yourself. Prices are going crazy. Yes, they are going crazy. Yes, the values have gone up, but not that much. It's not as crazy relative to its market size. Pokemon, the card hobby, is very small. It's a very small marketplace, no matter what you think. Now, if you want to put that in perspective, a multi-billion dollar company like Tesla literally 10x, and that is an established billion-dollar company on the S&P 500, known worldwide by investors all over the world. So with a humble hobby like Pokemon cards, with such a tiny market cap where a small amount of money, a small amount of movement can make a big difference in the prices, yes, the market movement has been impressive. But relative to its market size, it's not as impossible as it first seems. So when we compare that to Pokemon, which is so much smaller, just understand the potential. Understand that market cap matters and that affects the volatility and the prices that can happen. And so for Pokemon to, let's say, triple, quadruple, 5x in price for how small the hobby is, it's entirely feasible. I'm not saying it's not in a bubble or whether it is or not. But what I am saying is that these numbers are very possible, and you cannot make a comparison to the stock market where if a stock doubles and triples, maybe you'd be selling into that price action. This hobby is so much smaller, and because of that, we're going to see more price action, more volatility. You're going to see more fluctuations and variations in price than you would in something like the stock market. They are two completely different games, and I've seen that compared quite a bit from time to time. I just want to make that clear for those of you who don't have that experience. While it's relative and it's important to make that note, they are two completely different ball games. So getting back on track, like I said, I like base set due to its established price history as a potential market indicator. The other thing I really like about it is that it's extremely liquid. And that means that the card trades hands a lot. Now, for, again, a smaller hobby like Pokemon, it's important that we have a card that has a lot of market movement, a lot of transactions, so we can get a better, solid basis of the pricing and its value. And because the base set Charizard is extremely liquid, it's harder for these random market fluctuations to trick you. That's why when we see brand new cards come out, why do some people overpay, or maybe you get a deal right when a card first comes out? It's because no one knows the value. The market is establishing itself. That's not something that we have to worry about with this card. Base set is just different because it's very liquid and the market flows constantly. So we have the price history and the liquidity that I think makes an important market indicator. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. What really caught my eye about this card at the time also was that the price movement was very key. The card had started the year around $300 and it tripled to about $900. Now here's where some experience in financial markets really comes into play. I'm going to show you a quick chart, a very fancy chart that I printed out for us to take a look at, and just so you get a better visual of what I'm trying to say here. So here's the price action of the base set PSA 9. Again, very specifically, a base set unlimited PSA 9 Charizard. Here's the price action of that card for the year 2020. And as I mentioned, the price had started around $300, and we see it start to move up. And just for your convenience, what I did was I also drew a trend line because we do have some most likely what are false positives here on some of these data points. But generally, you can see most of the data points, most of the sales are actually concentrated around this line. So I drew a nice little trend line for us to follow. So here's what happened in 2020. The price had basically opened around $300 at the beginning of 2020. And we see the price start gradually moving up. And it basically doubles. And then it triples to around $900. And here's where things get really interesting. And that is this long flat line here. So you'll notice here there's a lot of price action. We see a lot of movement. Prices are moving up. Hopefully I didn't cover the camera there. But you see the prices were moving up and moving up quickly. And then suddenly we see things flatten out. We see things consolidate. And it's this flat action. It's this consolidation where there's less action in the price that really gets interesting. What you'll see is that the price is basically flat for about 6 to 8 weeks or so. And what happened was with this card was that the price had tripled from $300 to $900, and now suddenly we're facing price resistance. The price is stuck. It's having trouble breaking out and getting past this line. Basically, the market has decided, at least at this particular time, I'm not willing to pay more than $900 for this card. Give or take, obviously, there are some fluctuations, but generally, that's what the price action is telling us there in that particular time. So now we have this resistance at $900, but that's not it. We also have what's called a psychological resistance at $1,000 that I didn't bother drawing a line, but obviously you can imagine it somewhere around this vicinity here. We have a $1,000 psychological resistance. That's why you see stores price something at $9.99 instead of $10. It's just statistically proven that it'll sell more when it's at $9.99 versus $10. It's just the way our brains work. It's the way we're hardwired. And so now we have price resistance at $900. And then we have psychological resistance at $1,000. And this is for a base set Charizard, a historically relevant card to the hobby with tons of price history, 20 years of price history, a very liquid card, and there's enough supply and demand in the open market that this card is liquid. And I just thought this will be really interesting to see if it can break through that $900 range and, of course, that $1,000 psychological resistance. But what happened next just completely shocked me. It just caught me off guard. Because after about that 6 to 8 weeks, again, of flat price action, the price just shot up. It just shot up. You can see even here, you can see the data points. It just, boom, it just breaks right through very quickly, very fast and sharply. And it just shot up to now around $1,500 to $1,600. That's a huge 67% price surge through two resistance points, two significant resistance points. Again, with an established card like the Charizard base set card. Now, to me, that's a strong bullish signal that there might still be room for the market to grow and that there's a lot of potential momentum. So keep in mind, technical analysis, this type of data and analysis is not a guarantee. So I'm not guaranteeing or predicting that the prices are going to keep moving up. But what it does do is it gives us odds. It gives us favorable odds. It gives us some information to lead us potentially in the right direction. Think of it like keeping score. It's like adding points to the score that the prices might keep moving up. I'd also like to point out I wouldn't do this with just any card. So if you wanted another really direct comparison that I still wouldn't use in this analysis is the base set Shadowless card, a PSA 6. And so what's really interesting about this is even though they're both base set, they're both Charizards, and at the time when the prices were stuck, when the unlimited card was stuck at $900, the Charizard Shadowless, the PSA 6, was also sitting around that $900 to $1,000 range. But the reason I very specifically looked at the unlimited card was because of, again, the liquidity, the supply, the fact that those cards change hands more often. There's just not enough data to work off of with a Shadowless PSA 6 card versus the base set unlimited PSA 9. And this was just a perfect storm. It was that perfect situation where the price action was just in the right location. It was the perfect card to work. The hobby was in the right place. Everything just fell into place that this turned into a very strong potential market indicator. So I really think this was just one of those perfect scenarios. Like I said, I wouldn't do this with any card. I wouldn't do it with any card that's $900. I wouldn't just do this with any base set card. It was just a perfect situation with all the data and the history that we had available. Now, I'd like to address something. A lot of people are calling this a bubble. Well, let me tell you what this also is. In financial terms, again, let me take out this chart again so we can look at it one more time. So let me tell you what this also is. This is what we would call a blue sky breakout. And that's where the prices start to reach uncharted territory. Once again, if we ignore some of these outlier data points, which I believe are probably false positives here, I didn't look at those transactions specifically, but once we get past here, once this price starts spiking up to this area, we've gone where we've never gone before. And in a blue sky breakout scenario, in financial terms, that just means the skies are the limit. We do not know how high prices will go or when it's going to stop because we've never seen this before. You know, it could stop tomorrow. The price could keep going up for years. We don't know. But when I saw this Charizard card move up and I saw its price action, and then I watched it break through the $900 price resistance, and then it smashed right through the $1,000 psychological resistance, I saw it as a strong signal that this market still has potential to keep going up. Thank you so much for watching. Help support the channel, like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. Visit the channel page for more awesome videos. So what do you think? Do you think we're in a bubble? Do you think the prices are going to keep going up? Do you think maybe Pokemon right now is just too popular and too strong of a hobby at this particular time? Let me know what you'd like to talk about next. Let me know your thoughts. Drop them down in the comments below. Until next time.